3 disturbing true camping horror stories.
1. The Man in the Woods. Location: Appalachian Trail, USA. A man named Brian was hiking solo along the Appalachian Trail and decided to set up camp near a small clearing. As the sun set, he noticed movement in the trees. Thinking it was a deer, he ignored it and went about his evening. Around midnight, he woke up to soft whispering outside his tent. It wasn't the rustling of leaves, but actual voices. He held his breath, listening. The voices sounded like they were imitating his own words from earlier that day. VP. Then something brushed against his tent. Slowly, a handprint pressed against the fabric from the outside. Brian grabbed his knife and flashlight and yelled, hoping to scare off whoever was outside. But when he unzipped the tent, no one was there. Just silence and trees. The next morning, he found footprints circling his campsite. They weren't animal tracks, they were human. But the oddest part? They were barefoot and there were dozens of them, leading deep into the woods. The Laughing Man. Location: Black Hills National Forest, South Dakota. A group of friends went camping in a remote section of the Black Hills. Around 2 a.m., as they sat around the fire, they heard laughter echoing from the trees. It wasn't normal laughter. It sounded distorted and unnatural. Like a grown man imitating a child's giggle. Thinking it was another camper playing a prank, they yelled into the darkness. The laughter suddenly stopped. They shrugged it off, but an hour later, as they were settling in their tents, the laughter returned. This time, right outside their tents. One of the guys unzipped his tent and shined a flashlight toward the trees. In the beam of light, he saw a tall, thin figure standing behind a tree. Its face was pale, almost skeletal, and it was smiling widely. Terrified, the group grabbed their things, jumped into their truck, and drove off. When they looked back, the figure was standing in the middle of their abandoned campsite, laughing silently. 3. The Stranger in the Cabin. Location: Mount Hood National Forest, Oregon. A couple, Tom and Lisa, were camping when they got caught in an unexpected storm. They found an abandoned cabin and decided to take shelter inside. The place was run down but still provided cover from the rain. As they settled in, Lisa noticed old photographs on the walls. They were black and white portraits of people, all of whom had their eyes scratched out. That night, as the storm raged outside, they heard shuffling footsteps in the attic. Thinking it was an animal, Tom banged on the ceiling with a stick. The noise stopped, only to start again a few minutes later, this time closer to the trap door leading to the attic. Then, at around 3 a.m., Lisa woke up to find the attic hatch slightly open. Something was peeking down at them. They bolted out of the cabin and ran back to their campsite in the dark. The next morning, when they returned with park rangers, the cabin was completely empty, except for the photographs, which were now lying on the floor.